Do you even know who the fuck I am? Do ya? Alrighty, boys, what is up? We got the Weedsport new track, the track review. As you see from the overhead shot, just a little looks like Volusia just because a little bit of a bent back straight away. Got a replay in the background of an official sprint car race. What it's gonna do? Late models, around the bottom, maybe on top in 3 and 4, but that's all I've seen of it. Same with mods. We're gonna touch it with a non-wing. Haven't tried yet, because you're just gonna die in the 1 and 2. But overall, it's a nice track. It's just tough because it's narrow, but it's not like it's not impossible to pass. You just kind of gotta wait for a small mistake, but it's hard to be perfect on this track, put it that way. And yeah, you just gotta be able to capitalize on their mistakes. But overall, it slows down so much. I mean, it really races like a quarter mile. I'd say it races like a linear more than anything, just maybe longer straightaways. But you're still not going to get 100% throttle on the straightaways in the second half of a race, and that's what ultimately, hopefully, it teaches people to, let off the gas a little bit, because you can't do that in 1 and 2. You're going to die on the wall. 3 and 4, you're going to die on exit. So let's take a quick look at 1 and 2. So the biggest thing is this big wall and how much it narrows up and how big of a corner in such a short amount of time turn 1 is. It's almost like Indianapolis, the big oval, Indy 500, where it's just one squaring off. I talk about that a lot, squaring off corners. Well, this corner is literally a square, and coincidentally, you don't really drive it like that unless you maybe do the top. But generally, every line I run, whether it be the top, I enter on the bottom. Whether it be the middle, I enter on the bottom. Whether it be the bottom, I enter on the bottom. So I found the fastest, if you're in clean air, the fastest you can be is getting down as close to this inside wall as you can be for whatever line you want to run. Maybe at the start of a feature, or maybe in the second heat race, if the slick isn't pushed up too much right here, if you can just get your rear tires in that, then you can carry it out and keep speed up without having to scrub it to not hit the wall. It can be there. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but personally for me, I attack that inside wall every single lap. Doesn't matter the line I'm running. If there's a car down there, then yeah, you got to change stuff up. Maybe even a little bit of a cut down, because you can get the rear tires in, but then if the slick's pushing you too far up to the wall, you can try to get the rear tires in and bring it down middle or even bottom maybe. Yeah, that's 1 and 2. Everything I just do from the bottom. You're lifting at about the flag stand. You can't even see it way back here, but there's a giant bump. There's a giant freaking bump right about there. And especially if you're running the outside, after you hit that bump, if your car's not set, you need to be on the brakes, because otherwise you're going to go head on into this wall. If you're past that bump and your car isn't turning and set and sitting down, if you're still on throttle, you're just going to get caught out here. And then, yeah, otherwise, when you're running the bottom, it's not as bad, because you still got to kind of get through it, but you're just going slower and you're off the gas, so it doesn't affect you as much. But yeah, you just want to get in, turn, and stay as low as you can, even over here. You want to get you see the dark dirt, you see those crumbs just against the wall, you want your left front there. If you're any higher, you're not low enough. And yeah, you just want to lift at about the flag stand, and then it's really hard if you're coming side by side with a guy's on your outside and guys are inside. You gotta lift super early. Well, I shouldn't say that. You gotta pitch the car. What I like to do sometimes, I'll pitch the car. I don't like that term, because that kind of makes people think of a non-wing car, like backing it in. But you almost have to do it, and then a little tap of the brakes, that kind of helps it helps set the car more, because it helps you get a little more sideways. So like say you're here in the corner, then you tap on the brakes. So a little poop. We'll call that brake. But that'll throw the car a little more sideways, but it'll also slow you down more, because otherwise you just got to lift at the flag stand and go straight, and you're going to miss the corner. This helps you stay lower and get the car sideways so you can utilize this grip a little bit more in the middle too. That's only if there's a car on the outside of you. Otherwise, don't brake at all. But it just helps you keep more speed up during that. But that's 1 and 2, and that really makes the whole track for me, because I feel like 3 and 4, we'll go over once it gets slicker. We'll look at the replay in the background too. So here's 3 and 4. It's a much more fast sweeping corner, especially on top. A lot of people seem to be struggling where they turn in too early to hit the wall here. I don't really have a mark that I turn in at. I just kind of free judge it on the fly. I don't really know what to say. Maybe use these walls, this opening in the wall, use that as a marker. You know, when you want to be turned in, when you want to be slowed, like maybe lift here to get turned in. No, I've actually done that. Those are probably your markers. You want to be lifted before that, the last wall there, at least at the end. Of course, be careful coming out too low when you're running this bottom, because that wall will kill you in 3 and 4. But for the most part, it's top of 3 and 4 until maybe the later stages of the race, but heats and stuff like that. And just the way you flow in because of the curved straightaway, you can just really keep up a lot of speed. But then this is like the opposite of 1 and 2, where you're making that last 90-degree angle really sharply. So you got to get the car, you really don't feel like you have to get the car sideways in the center because you're carrying so much speed, and you're like, all right, this feels really good. But because then you end up over out here looking at pit road and you got this wall coming at you quick. So you really got to kind of stay conscious about getting the car rotating in the center, because if you do it on exit, it's gonna scrub all your speed off. You're gonna swing out here, you're gonna be a little too sideways, you're either gonna tap this wall or you're gonna come down the racetrack because your rear end's spinning because you made your whole turn on your corner exit. When you have to slow down, you have to slow up your center a little bit in the corner and get it rotating, and even maybe turn down the track as much as you can, not as much as you can, but to wherever the slick is at that point. If it's up to here, then turn it, go, then turn it down here instead of letting it sweep all the way out. I know there's grip, but it's just it gets way too slick on the straightaways there. But yeah, for the bottom, probably just use that reference. This is probably the only spot for slide jobs. I haven't thrown any 1 and 2 yet, because you're just asking to murder the guy on the outside, or you better hope he hits the brakes a lot, because otherwise it's just so easy to get pancaked into that wall because it narrows up. But yeah, just running the bottom, just be careful about hitting this grip too much. If you come in at a big arc and then you get this grip, like I said, that's what puts you head on into this wall. But it's really fun on a fresh track too when you arc it right and you just carry that speed out of the corner there, and it's really good. So let's just bring up our replay. We'll just look at qualifying results, and I've noticed you see this, you got a guy a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. The top 4 are all in different tenths in this session. That's because it's so gapped in qualifying, but at least between the top, well, you don't hit the wall like that. But let's just let's go chopper view and just see how many cars were in this race. Yeah, so big 20 cars, so it got slicker before Q. You can see it's a little bit of slick spot there at 2, but I think anytime you see that slick spot, I think it just comes right back to the bottom. Not 100% sure on that yet, but every race I've been in, it's been the bottom for qualifying, at least in the 410s. Where is a fucking chopper? Alright, so there you see a little bit of slick right there, maybe. Just maybe slimy, because people come out here in practice and they're just full throttle hauling ass, and they're washing up the track on the exit too. So it becomes better so what we'll do is we'll look at the fastest qualifier line, the slowest qualifier. Jesus, they're almost a second off. So this is probably a really bad example of track to show the difference in line speed. And then we'll take a look at someone mid-pack also. So we go Ricky's first lap if it shows it. Doesn't show it. This is practice. Does it not show his qual? I'm not sure how replays work. Okay, maybe because I was in the race or something. So we'll show my qualifying line and nobody else's, I guess, since I just blew my plan. Here's what I did, because I died on the second lap. And if you got time, you know, when you die like that, you just reset the car and then take 2 more laps of qualifying. It's just a good way to practice qualifying, and then maybe if you know, like, yeah, you missed the line, go try to find that line or see what you can hit for an optimal. You know, if you still got time, you're like, all right, just go back out, get 2 laps, maybe even 3 if it's got fuel for it. And, you know, do a lap, swing a lap, and then do another lap. That's just a good way to practice qualifying. If you're a person that struggles to qualify, or if you're not sure of the line, well, you know, you can go out and be like, oh, this was the line, so now I know that for the next time. So let's just watch my first lap. Came in. Oh, we hit our first lap, David. This is practice. Struggling. Alright, here we go. Swing lap, warm up. Let's go far chase. Alright, see this one we thought, oh, you can see the slick a lot better here. But yeah, you see how black it is entrance? You're like, oh, well, I'm scared to hit the bottom, but it's just so much faster than washing up. I feel like I hit this really good. You got, that's the other thing, be really mindful, even when you get up to this wall, the curb here, the cushion, really, it lifts your right rear up and it'll spin you out. See, I even did a good job of keeping it straight for the most part. And then even if you're doing a slider line, when you get out here and get back on the throttle, your car's gonna get really sideways. But you're just losing, you know, 2/10 in the corner just by running it so much higher and longer around. And then even on the straightaway, you know, you're not getting straight, you're having a little bobble right there. And we kind of turned through the slick there. Doesn't get us any more sideways. But we missed the bottom by a whole car length, and then we're hitting the slick on exit 2. That's the other thing. You want to be as low as you can out of 4 in qualifying also, because you don't want to hit this straightaway slick. That's going to keep backing up. Yeah, then we tried to hit the bottom, but we turned in too early. Tried to straighten it out to correct it, and then turn back in. We just missed it. You know, that's going to happen with you a lot, maybe trying to run the bottom, but you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of it. Learn the limits. That's what you have to do. If you're not wrecking, you're not driving the car hard enough. You got to go learn the limits first, then you can learn how to attack them. See there? Once I came back out, I turned in a lot later. Here's where I was. Here's where I'm turned in, and how much closer I am to the wall compared to my lap 2. Okay, well, I'm turned in, but I'm straighter. We're turned in about the same flight, but if I go with 3, I'm a lot more sideways. A little bit later on the straightaway, and that's what gets us to pinch the bottom. Still washed it up a little bit, but we maintained speed. Just run a swing lap again. Then we try it again. That one looked a little better. And then you see how we're a lot lower in 3 and 4. We touched a slick, but it's not getting us sideways like we were at the end of our lap 1. You see the difference there. So we'll just skip ahead to heat race 2. And just see what the track did. You see it gets a lot blacker on entry, and that's where it's going to be. On entrance, it's always going to get black right through the middle, from people going top, bottom, missing the bottom.
Did that guy
Yeah, it's still off bottom, because look, there's just so much grip down here.
just come out of the pits and hit everybody?
Oh my gosh, this was, oh yeah, alright. This race had a lot of everything. Look at this guy, come on. Outside pits, y'all. Outside pits, you gotta love them. Fucking ridiculous. But hilarious. So that's a heat race, we'll just skip to the feature. Yeah, let's have a consi, so we'll just look at we started poll. Alright, so this would be start of the feature. Again, bottom. Now you see how much narrow it is now out of 2 compared to what it just was. Now it's about half a car length to a car length. and riding high out here, you gotta slow the car, straighten it up to not touch that wall. So here we have the black spot getting bigger in 3 and 4. You can top is faster, but you have to get through that black spot and be coming up the track, so it's a little more risky. You gotta be careful when you're going up to the top to not hit the wall then. Otherwise, bottom down here, same thing, about a half a car length grip. Just can't carry the speed enough in 3 and 4 yet. So we'll just skip along in the race. Alright, so we're halfway in the race with your sort of battle in there. What do you notice different? Where do you think the grip is? Where do you think the line is right now? Pause and take a look. Where's the most grip on the racetrack right now? I would almost say the exit 2. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it seemed like it carried a good run. Let's check out 3 and 4. See, that really helped our arc into 3 and 4 also. You know, keeping it low down the whole racetrack, you're gonna gain speed on someone on the back straightaway, but then you have to come to a stop going into turn 3, trying to run that bottom. So when you arc, when you're able to, there I almost hit that inside wall too. When you're able to arc it in, it just makes the corner so much easier, and so much easier to hit that exit also, to keep the car low. There was tried to throw a slider on a lap car there. I don't know if he just panicked or what a lap car was. This was actually a really bad line, because you should have saw the lap car entering in the middle. You see the angle where the lap car is right now. He probably thought he was running the bottom because he was that low already, but it made him turning on the straightaway. But you knew or I don't know, I would have assumed that the lap car was going to swing up to the outside, so he could have just hit the bottom like he was regularly. And then I think he just misjudged it and tried to bail out of it and threw a slider, and where contact was made. There we were able to grip the bottom. Our lap car holds the middle, so we about died on that exit wall again, but that gave us a, oh my.
My bad, David.
Yeah, this race had a lot, so. Here you see it just gets blacker. Again, it's missed the bottom a little bit, but now you see how it's glazed over a lot more completely. Let's get our pit lane view so we can see the whole track. So there you pretty much see. We'll try to reincorporate this in paint, and I'll show you the different lines. And then 3 and 4 there too. So pretty much, let's bring 1 and 2 back up real quick. Actually, let's see how long we got in this video. Alright, 17 minutes, not bad. We'll look up here. So let's take a look at going on Weedsport 1 and 2. So like again, in qualifying, you get a little bit of slick there, real narrow, and then some narrow up there. And trust me, that's probably, unless you're in a 12 car field that starts fresh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I haven't ran enough here yet, but I would just say bottom and Q, and just, maybe run a safe lap first if you're confident and you just want to get a good lapping on top, and then try your second lap on the bottom. You can always do something like that. But it's really just hook the bottom, and then even for that first heat race, because you're just losing so much speed overdriving the corner all the way out there, making it so much wider. But eventually, throughout the heats, more people will try to hit the bottom and miss it. This slick will back up, get a little higher there, and this will elongate a little bit. That's where heat 2 kind of comes in. Then maybe it can look like maybe get a little crossover, cut down line, but still hook the bottom. You just got to slow up a lot more in 1 and 2 to stay down below this slick, because that's going to keep making its way down the track a little more and more. Same on exit. And now there's where you can see where maybe that slider line comes in, if there's still grip out there, if this gets actually, because before it gets down too far, usually a black strip there is low also. So you can either try to squeeze out the middle there or slag it all the way up. But be careful of that, that tire of everyone hooking the bottom right there. That's where the next slick patch comes down before this actually gets really low. And this gets further out on the straightaway. That's what makes it hard coming out of that middle right here. Because, yeah, okay, you can get it out straighter, but you're still hitting this slick on the straightaway. Just fill this thing a little more, narrow it up a bit. And then eventually you get it like this, and then like this, and that's all the way at the wall, and that's kind of where there's 3 lanes, and it's kind of balanced. You can swinging in the middle, come swinging on the bottom, and then drive it straight off middle, because you're going to be between the 2 slick spots from the top and the bottom. Or you can still just hook the bottom, or you can try to slide high or even enter high, but I just feel like it's a lot safer to just slide it up. You just got to be really careful when you're getting back on throttle up here, and not let the rear end snap out. But that's pretty much what it is. It's really racy on this end, but then in 3 and 4, I feel like it's top for a while, but then eventually it just goes to the middle and the bottom and everything. And if you can't carry the momentum out of 4, it's washed again. It almost doesn't matter what the guy behind you does in 1 and 2. As long as you clear him out of 4, you're fine. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just the whole lap is a wash. So your first spots here are going to be a little slick on entry there. Maybe some light spots here in about the middle. But if you can still arc it in good and reach under them, that'd be great. And then there's slick on exit from people at the top too, or the people just carrying their speed all the way around really fast, and then that's where they get sideways on the straightaway, because they have, like I said, they have to make up that rest of the corner. That's why I got slick forms there. It backs up, and then it gets a little narrow push down here, and that's where in like a heat race, especially like heat 2, the top, it will be faster, even middle. But then eventually it kind of splits up here like maybe a Volusia, where there's more grip in the middle, but it's better to just carry momentum up around the top. And then eventually the whole entry gets slick, and then you really got to pick top or bottom. And then once the top gets like all the way to the wall with slick, then you can really just start trying for the middle to come in, or just slowing down and hitting the bottom, because that'll be like that thing. And then yeah, there might be some middle grip left. You can't really slide up to exit here, because there will be like a patch of grip right here, but unless you're really trying to throw a slagger on someone, it's not really going to do you any good, because like I said, you're going to go, all right, now you have grip and you have a lot of speed, but now you still got to make the rest of the corner, and you don't have a good angle at it because you're sliding up the racetrack. Your momentum's carrying you this way instead of, this way how you want it. So that's why this track's a real big proponent of like arcing the corners in to run the bottom. It's something that I really like to do, instead of keeping the grip and then slowing down so much. It all depends though. It really depends where the track is at the moment. It does change around a lot, but still the line really doesn't vary between like about a groove and a half, especially when it gets full black slick around it. But yeah, let me know how you guys like it. I think it's all right. The racing isn't the greatest, but it's still a fun track to even run around on the slick, because I feel like you gotta be so precise on the entrance and exit of each side of each corner, so you're always driving the track. Even when you're out there by yourself, you're still always driving the track. Always every corner, something can go wrong. It's not like an Eldora or a Volusia, where you can just be out there and turn laps and get bored right away. You always got to drive, either on the wheel or with the throttle, especially coming out of 4 off the bottom, because it gets really, really slick there out of 4. So you just gotta. This is one of those tracks where even just by the start of the feature, just maybe think to yourself, say, hey, I'm not gonna go 100% throttle this whole race. And even if you're on a hooked up part of the racetrack, maybe just go 90% throttle and just never flat foot it. That will kind of condition your mind then once the track does slow up. You're not going to lose as much speed as you think. Well, why wouldn't you be 100% of the throttle if you can? Trust me, you're not gonna be 10 miles per hour slower than anyone. It just will help you then once the track does get it where you have to be 50 to 70% on throttle, on the straightaway or corner exits. You're going to be used to it, because you're not going to be on off on the gas. You're going to be rolling it up and down a little bit, even from the start. So you're just preconditioned already before it gets black slick. But yeah, like I said, Lanier gets that way too, where it's like I can be 100% throttle. It's a straightaway. I have the speed, but it's just not worth it. Where you can run 85% throttle and you will be just as fast. I promise you. But you'll have a lot more car control on entry and exit. A good corner entry will help your exit. That way you don't, if you're if everyone's, spinning out of turn 4, you're like, I can't get out of turn 4, I'm always too much on the throttle. Well, if you lift earlier and give yourself an easy entry, it gives yourself an easier exit, and you're going to be like, wow, okay, now I can actually use 10% more throttle on exit because I changed my entry or slowed my entry down, made my entry better. So yeah, that is Weedsport. Terrible, dumb shaped track in New York, like most New York tracks, but it's whatever. It's cool. It's not going to race the best. I never thought it was never going to, just because the way it is shaped. But I have fun with it. I like it. So yeah, hope you guys learned something. As always, peace the fuck out.